back to the series where we are playing through the main story quest using the DLC characters. In today's installment, we are back at it again with the Marvel Knights characters. We're about halfway through the Dark Dimension, and the next fight that we have ahead of us is the fight against Doctor Strange, so let's jump right into it. Alright, so Doctor Strange tends to favor his Bolts of Bolthak attack, mainly because it really covers a lot of ground. But as long as you can keep a level head and roll around those attacks, you really shouldn't have to worry about too much. His Flames of Faltine are also quite potent, so you do want to be wary of those as well. And the Crimson Bands of Sidorak will bind him, or bind your teammates, in a way that can be quite problematic. Alright. Let's see if we can get around. Alright, Flames of Faltine going off again there. Let's get Morbius in on this. And get that attack through his stagger. And that will get us through the first phase of this fight. So we're on to the second phase of this fight now, and this is significantly more difficult than the first portion that we had. So I'm going to strategize keeping as much of this paralyzing gaze up from Morbius as I can, as that will allow us to further increase our damage output against Doctor Strange, which we're going to need because not only does that Bolts of Bolthak eat up a lot of space, but it also has a bit of a stagger to it where it has the fire element further beyond the standard energy attack that it already is. Alright, let's get another one of these paralyzing gazes open. And we've just about got him into that stagger there. And we've got more of the Bolts of Bolthak going on there, and I got roped in with one of my own teammates there. Decently good showing though, and Punisher just ate a whole set of flame orbs there. And that's just more and more chaos than what I needed to deal with. Oh my gosh. This is just worse and worse. Alright, let's get as many of these extreme attacks out as we can. Further damage down on Doctor Strange. Nice amount of damage there, actually. And that snipe shot from Punisher is less effective than I'd like it to be, but it allows us to dance around from a distance and kind of conserve some health here. Honestly, this snipe shot is a little bit more efficient at burning out the elemental orbs than anything else. We've just about got him down, actually. Punisher doesn't have enough left in the tank for another one of those smoke screen attacks. And we've just got to dance around these attacks a little bit more. Alright, roll around that. And more flames of the Faltine there. Oh, you burned down all three of my guys right there? Well, that's mildly annoying. Alright, let's roll around that, dash in, and that's one of the more difficult fights that we'll have to deal with. But that's going to do it, and we can progress forward. Alright. So let's talk with Doctor Strange here so we can move forward and on towards the fight with Dormammu.
We'll need to make our way to Dormammu's lair and pick up a little something extra along the way. Dormammu's toying with the Reality Stone's power. He's altering the fundamental properties of this dimension.
Alright, so there's a couple of boxes that we need to be aware of here. So let's go ahead and burn down this ice orb and its accompanying rift. We're stuck in a really nice spot where it really can't hit us with any of these crystals it has coming down. And that allows us to drop down, which is a little sooner than I wanted to, actually. Dashing through a few times with Morbius here gets us some nice damage on these bigger elemental mindless one enemies. And these parademons here. And let's go ahead and rip out the extreme attack from Morbius so we can siphon off or siphon back some health. And we've just about got what we need down out of these big mindless ones here. But this is the part of the fight that gets a little bit hairy. Alright, let's go ahead and keep moving here. Moon Knight's health is getting a little low, so we're going to go ahead and activate his extreme attack here. And let's go ahead and get Blades wigged out as well. And that gets the remainder of that health pool burned down. Now there's just this final remaining parademon here. And with one final silver spike there, that gets us what we need. Now if we backtrack, we will be able to obtain those boxes that we skipped over. And just about got this guy burned down, which we do now. And then if we fall down into this little ravine, we can get teleported right off to the top and activate that box there. Now there's one other box that we need to take this little elevator up to. But there's also a fire orb that we need to take out before we can get to it, which is up here on this upper level. Alright, so let's go ahead and get Punisher in on this action here. Siphon back some health using our extreme attack there, which is a quite useful mastery. And actually, I think I'm going to use that in an upcoming video, just touring you around the skill tree and things that are of importance or things that you should keep a mindful eye on for balancing out beneficial builds. So keep an eye open for that video in the future. Now we've just about got this Parademon taken out. And once we do, we can go ahead and come over to this little elevator platform. And that'll get us up to this box, which is containing a few extra pieces of artwork that I didn't have previously, which is good. Now, I thought for a moment that there might have been something above us, but that is, in fact, the place that we initially came from. So let's go ahead and continue. And we've just about got this final enemy taken out, which is good. So let's go ahead and progress onwards again. I think Moon Knight fell down a crevasse there, but we should get him back over here.
These are the crystals I spoke of. I can sense that you carry similar ones already.
Now let's go ahead and absorb some of these fireballs so we can chuck this against the orb itself, which will allow us to progress on to the next bit.
There should be more as we traverse closer to Dormammu in the stone.
And these crystals cannot come with you through a portal, so don't bother. Though it doesn't really matter because you will be getting quite a few of them at this stage.
All of these winding paths and walkthroughs are giving me a bloody migraine.
Alright, let's go ahead and absorb more of the energy from these beams. I would have liked to have used that against one of those orbs, but alas, that was not to be. Let's go ahead and get a sniper shot down there on that elemental mindless one. And that'll do it for this particular guy. Alright, let's go ahead and activate Punisher's extreme attack to hopefully take down the remainder of these guys. And if not, it does get us fairly close. Which is good. And then if we absorb some more of these attacks here, we should just be able to throw it back at that orb. And that is unfortunate that it fell all the way down. Let's go ahead and pick up one of these ones. Absorb some energy attacks here. And that should be more than enough to get rid of that fire orb. Come on. That gets down the remainder of his stagger bar. And that's all we need for the enemies in this sector. Now, the red gate is down, but we also have this yellow gate, which is an important gate to take on, so you can free up some more of the orbs. There's some more of these boxes down on the lower level. So getting that one down is good. And then let's go ahead and get a few more attacks in on this elemental mindless one here. Hopefully burn the rest of him down, which we can. And that's unfortunate, but one more shot there will go ahead and get that guy down. Now, these three orbs, or these three boxes, you can go ahead and burst out. It's nice that there's three of them collected all next to each other, given that you do have a little bit of some restricted gain from that. So now that we have this next orb, we'll go ahead and progress onward to the final little portion here. And with that, we have all of the energy absorbed, which we can then use, well, I was hoping to use it against this fire orb down here, until it was so rudely knocked out of my hands by these guys. But it was ultimately to their detriment. Alright, let's go ahead and use our extreme attack here, especially since we can get the fire orb in the attack damage there. And that gets us through that warrior and through that fire orb. We've now got to hopefully absorb some more energy-based attacks from some of these mindless ones, which we just about have full charge. And we didn't quite have the target that we were looking for, because that's actually going to be back through this portal over here. This is a bit of a labyrinth to figure out, to be sure. Alright, that'll get you. Get a heavy attack from Punisher here to burn down the remainder of that orb, and that triggers the final orb that we need, which is the ice one. And we'll just spam some heavy attacks point blank into it to get the remainder of it burned down, hopefully. Punisher used his smokescreen attack just now down towards the bottom, which isn't what I was hoping for, but it's what we got. Point blank snipe shot, that'll get the remainder of that down. And Blade's in some trouble, so let's go ahead and have him activate his extreme attack here, helping regain some health. Alright, let's go ahead and get this silver spike attack going, because that should be able to be used to our advantage, and he's immediately back down to about where we had found him before using his extreme attack, which is a bit unfortunate. Honestly, Blade is a bit disappointing, if I'm being completely honest. He's a lot of fun, but he just lacks in the damage output department, in my opinion. Let's go ahead and get Morbius's extreme attack down here. And that gets the remainder of that mindless one down. And that gets the remainder of that mindless one down. Just a few more left here. And that's the second to last mindless one that we need to keep in mind. Now hopefully we can get some elemental energy attacks here. We're not going to, which is less than what I was hoping for. But that will get the remainder of him. Now, the last box that we have in this area, now that we have all the enemies cleared out, is this attack, or this box that we can go ahead and attack. What we'll need to do is focus on one of a projectile and then a slash. That will get us into the final area. Now that was a bit of a labyrinth to work through, to be sure, so let's go ahead and get through to our next shield marker, which should take us right up to the fight with Loki, and that does appear to be the case. Now, provided that that last portion of the fight took a little bit and there's a lot of busy work being done, we are going to go ahead and call that for today's episode. We'll go ahead and pick up at the Loki fight in the next episode. I know we're trailing a little bit further behind in this series, but ultimately I think it's worth it because it allows us to fully explore those maps for the boxes and such. So let me know what you think of the series down in the comments below, and I hope that you have a fantastic rest of your day.